This is a very important message for you today, do not ignore it. Pay attention to this message, my beloved child, listen carefully if you trust in God. Type Amen. Heaven has been waiting for this moment. The angels have been standing in formation, holding the scroll of your destiny with trembling hands, waiting for you to finally come into alignment with what has always been yours. And now, the time has come. God is not introducing something new today, He is releasing something that has already been prepared for you long before you knew how to ask for it. A miracle, financial in form, but divine in origin, is being pushed toward your hand with the full authority of heaven behind it. This is not a random blessing. This is a scheduled inheritance. It carries your name, your birthright, your breakthrough, and it has been delayed long enough. You have cried in silence, fasted without answers, sown seeds into places that never returned the harvest you deserved. But nothing is ever lost in God. And now, the release is near. The same hand that once shook in desperation will soon shake, holding an amount of money you never imagined entering your life this quickly. The same hand that once had to calculate every coin will now hold divine provision. The same hand that once covered your tear-soaked face will now lift in thanksgiving. And it is not because you earned it through perfection. It is because God never forgot the moments you still chose faith even when the facts were terrifying. God saw it all, when you gave your last and didn't tell anyone, when you stayed kind while others mocked you, when you celebrated others' wins while privately battling lack in your own life. And now the divine scale is tipping in your favor. What was withheld is being released. What was blocked is being broken open. What you thought you missed is circling back, but this time, bigger. Archangel Michael has not just been sent to protect you. He has been assigned to escort this provision from the throne room to your doorstep. Heaven is not sending a deposit, it's sending a delivery. And this is not only about money. This is about freedom. This is about walking into a season where your mind is at rest, your bills are paid, your heart is no longer anxious, and your time is no longer consumed by worry. God is elevating your hands because your heart remained pure. The blessing is not just in the money, it is in the moment when you realize that God truly remembers. That every seed, every sigh, every silent cry you whispered on your bedroom floor reached Him. And He did not delay to ignore you. He delayed to multiply it. Because what's coming is not just survival, it is supernatural. The angels have already placed your name before the gates of financial overflow. And your hand is being spiritually prepared to receive, not just cash, but control. Not just money, but movement. Not just coins, but calling. You will be a testimony. And people who once doubted your stability will now be shocked by your acceleration. Not because you chased riches, but because you stayed rooted in righteousness. The heavens are clapping. The wind around you is shifting. The spiritual vault has been opened. Your miracle is no longer approaching, it is arriving. And the only thing heaven needs from you now is agreement. The hand that once trembled with worry is now being strengthened by unseen forces, for the heavens have declared a new decree over your life. A financial mantle has been laid across your shoulders and the angels are in motion. What was once unreachable is now within your grasp. And not because the world suddenly changed in your favor, but because you held on through storms, through silence, through rejection, through moments when even your own reflection questioned your worth. But God was watching. God was storing every sacrifice, every obedience, every moment you chose to trust even when the provision had not arrived. And now, the vaults of favor are swinging wide open, not just with what you asked for, but with what you couldn't have imagined. This is what happens when God answers with abundance. He doesn't just meet needs, He builds legacies. This financial miracle is not just about your wallet, it's about your witness. It is heaven's way of saying, I did not forget you. You are not being rewarded by man, you are being remembered by God. Your name has been echoing in rooms you've never entered, being whispered in prayer chambers, appearing in heavenly records marked, due for harvest. And now the angels are rushing, not with gold from the earth, but with wealth wrapped in purpose. Because this isn't just about money, this is about mission. God is trusting your hands with this overflow because your heart didn't change when you had nothing. And now, when you receive everything, your heart will only become more surrendered. This kind of money is not normal. This kind of provision is prophetic. It comes when heaven has decided that your season of struggle must end, immediately, suddenly, supernaturally. Archangel Michael is standing beside the door you don't see yet. He's not just guarding the blessing, he's clearing the path. Every spirit of delay, every unseen blockage, every curse spoken behind closed doors against your prosperity is being silenced by the authority of God. Because you are not stepping into this blessing alone. You are walking with divine backing. You are walking with angels assigned to favor. And the moment your faith aligns with this truth, the manifestation begins. You will wake up one day and the debt will be gone. You will receive news that shifts everything in your favor. You will sign a paper that breaks generations of financial lack. And you will know, it wasn't luck, it was the Lord. What is coming to your hands will not feel like payment. It will feel like divine justice. Because you've been underpaid, overlooked, and undervalued for too long. But God doesn't forget His promises. And your reward is not coming from the system, it's coming from the throne. The wealth that's arriving is backed by the authority of God's own breath. And it carries peace, purpose, and power. When you hold it, your hands won't just feel full, they'll feel anointed. Because this is the moment where your hands become the proof of God's faithfulness. Not just to you, but through you. You will give like never before. You will build what no one in your family ever built. You will invest in dreams that once seemed impossible. And all of it will begin not with effort, but with alignment. This is why the message reached you today. Because the countdown has begun. Because heaven is not offering a suggestion, it is issuing a release. And the only thing you must do is believe, receive, and step into it. You are not too late. You are right on time. The clock of heaven doesn't move by fear, it moves by obedience. And your obedience is opening something bigger than your bank, it's opening destiny. There is a sacred reason why your hand has been chosen, why your spirit has been stirred, why this message found you in this precise moment. It is because something holy is happening behind the veil of the physical world. A financial scroll, written with your name, stamped in gold, marked, approved for transfer, is being lowered from heaven's treasury into the realm of earth. But heaven doesn't just release wealth without preparing the one who will carry it. That's why you've been through the refining. That's why you've walked through scarcity with grace. That's why even in lack, you never let greed touch your heart. Because God was not just watching your need, He was testing your posture. He was preparing your hands to hold what can bless generations without it breaking your soul. You didn't ask for riches. You asked for peace. And now, God is giving you both, wrapped in divine timing, sealed with favor. This is not the kind of money that fades. This is not the kind of wealth that causes confusion or loss. This is the kind of release that brings order, alignment, healing, and clarity. When this provision reaches you, something inside will shift. The tension you've silently lived with will melt. The quiet stress that's hidden behind your smiles will lift. And you will breathe differently, not because you suddenly became someone else, but because heaven finally revealed who you've always been. You are not someone who will beg to be seen. You are someone who heaven has already marked as chosen. And now your harvest is being expedited. The seed you thought was forgotten is now growing in places you never sowed. That is what divine recompense looks like. It brings a return so large that it doesn't just restore, it multiplies. Archangel Michael is holding the seal to your next chapter. He is standing over the release of funds that the enemy tried to delay. There were people who spoke against your rise. There were systems that ignored your faithfulness. But the courtroom of heaven has spoken on your behalf. And the verdict is, no more delay. No more lack. No more praying with empty hands. No more declaring abundance while secretly counting coins. This is not about materialism. This is about manifestation. You are walking into a season where the external finally matches the internal, where the abundance you've always carried in your heart is finally reflected in your hands. And when it happens, it will feel like confirmation, not surprise. Because you knew this moment would come. You felt it even in your emptiest moments. That pull, that echo, that silent assurance that your life would not end in struggle. That one day, your story would shift. And now it is. Not next year. Not later. But now. And as the transfer begins to unfold, you'll see signs. Unexpected credits. Open doors. Canceled debts. Sudden opportunities. People offering what you didn't even ask for. It won't make sense in the natural, but it will be absolutely aligned in the spirit. And through it all, your assignment will remain clear. Don't forget who sent it, and why. Because this blessing is not the end. It is the beginning of your impact. You will bless others and not break. You will fund dreams and not fear. You will live freely and love fully. And all of it will be possible because heaven decided you were ready. This is more than provision. This is promotion. This is God announcing to every realm, this one is mine. And no force in hell can stop a transfer that has been ordained by God Himself. There is a divine alignment taking place in the spirit realm, an orchestration so precise that even the slightest delay could have shifted everything. But heaven timed this moment perfectly, because the release that's coming to you is not only on schedule, it is prophetic. You were never forgotten, only prepared. You were never denied, only delayed for greater purpose. And now, with the heavenly books opened and your name shining in golden ink, God has decided that the season of barely making it must end. The angels are moving, not in silence but in celebration, because what's being released is more than just currency, it is confirmation of everything you've carried quietly. You have always been different. You have always sensed that your story was being watched by heaven. You have always known, even in your lowest valley, that you would not stay there. And now the divine is making that knowing visible. The hand that once reached in faith is now about to hold in fullness. You see, this blessing is not merely about wealth. It is about recognition from heaven. It is about God saying, I saw how you never gave up. You stayed loyal to your faith even when your account mocked your prayers. You believed in increase when all you saw was lack. And that's the kind of heart God responds to. A heart that trusts beyond sight. A soul that doesn't worship what it has but who gave it. And that's why this money is coming not as a prize, but as a promise fulfilled. Because God doesn't just honor works, He honors wounds. And you've been bleeding in private, financially, emotionally, spiritually, while still encouraging others. Still showing up. Still standing. And now heaven is standing for you. Archangel Michael has been assigned to this transaction. His wings are guarding the gate through which your blessing is being delivered. Not even the spirit of poverty that once plagued your bloodline can stop it now. Because what God is giving you is sealed in covenant. It's not a random payout, it's a divine inheritance. And this inheritance has come with warfare. But now the war is over. The angels are no longer battling to release your blessing, they are escorting it straight to your life. And your hands are being anointed to receive. These are the same hands that once held stress, signed notices, counted coins. But now, they will hold surplus. They will sign new contracts. They will count miracles. These hands have been through too much to be empty in this next season. The people who overlooked you will wonder how it happened. They will say it came out of nowhere. But you will know, it came from obedience. It came from silent prayers. It came from surrender. And now, every unpaid moment is being converted into overflow. You will not just have enough, you will have more than enough. Enough to help. Enough to give. Enough to start. Enough to breathe. And you won't feel guilty about it. Because you didn't steal this. You didn't scheme this. You didn't beg for this. You simply believed for this. And belief is the currency that heaven responds to. This is why your miracle is heavy. Because it was never meant to just change your life, it was meant to restore your bloodline. You are the first in your family to hold what's coming. And you will not fumble it. You will steward it with wisdom, with praise, with purpose. God is not just sending money. He's sending meaning. And soon, everything you went through will make sense. What's about to enter your life is not coming through labor, it's coming through favor. For years, you've lived under a mindset of work harder, push more, try again. But this blessing is not tied to your striving, it is tied to your surrender. You released control, and heaven took over. You gave up your timing, and God rearranged eternity for your breakthrough. This blessing is not just showing up because you deserve it, it's arriving because your spirit stayed faithful even when your hands were empty. Every tear you cried in silence planted a seed in the unseen. And now, the harvest is no longer coming, it is here. This blessing won't knock. It won't ask for permission. It will enter, because the door was already opened in the Spirit. And your life will never be the same. The amount of money coming to your hands is not random. It's not for vanity. It's for vision. Heaven is not rewarding your comfort, it is financing your calling. God is trusting you with abundance not because you chased it, but because you chased Him. And He saw how you stayed upright when life pushed you to the ground. How you chose character over compromise. How you clung to peace when you could have chosen bitterness. And now God is saying, give this one more. More than they lost. More than they asked. More than they imagined. Because this one didn't quit. This one carried legacy inside of lack. This one praised me with nothing in hand. And now, I am placing everything in their hand. Archangel Michael stands beside you, and though the world cannot see it, the spirit realm sees clearly. There's a divine envelope over your life. And on the seal, written in eternal ink, is the phrase, now open. That's why your atmosphere is shifting. That's why your heart has been restless. That's why your spirit feels like it's being pulled forward, because it is. You are being called out of cycles. Pulled out of patterns. Removed from rooms where you were undervalued. And all of it is happening at once, because when God releases provision, He also releases position. You're not just receiving money, you're receiving access. You're not just paying bills, you're breaking barriers. You're not just catching up, you're rising up. This is why you had to wait. Not because you were forgotten, but because heaven was forming this blessing perfectly. Every dollar, every opportunity, every resource has been designed to serve your destiny. And when it lands in your life, it won't bring stress, it will bring structure. You'll finally be able to rest. To invest. To give. To live. Not in fear. Not in hiding. Not in the shadows of just enough. But in the full light of overflow. And people won't understand how it happened so fast. But you'll know, God didn't do it fast. He did it right. He took His time preparing the kind of miracle that won't fade. The kind that creates legacy. The kind that breaks chains you didn't even know you were still dragging. And now, you stand on the edge of divine manifestation. And the only thing heaven needs from you is this: don't shrink when it shows up. Don't downplay it. Don't explain it away. Don't feel guilty. Your miracle is not a mistake. It's a message from God, and He is saying, this is what it looks like when I restore. When I reward. When I step in. So open your hands. Beloved. Because heaven has already spoken. And what's coming won't miss you. The moment heaven approves something for your life, no force in the world can cancel it. The money, the breakthrough, the favor that is being poured into your hands right now has already passed through God's judgment seat. It's not on trial. It's not in process. It's released. And what you're sensing in your spirit, the stirring, the anticipation, the quiet joy rising from deep inside, is confirmation that something sacred has left heaven with your name on it. It's not just wealth, it's reward. It's not just provision, it's prophecy fulfilled. And when it touches your hand, it will carry not just numbers, but meaning. You will feel the weight of every unseen prayer being answered. You will hold in your palm what generations before you only dreamed of. You will become the shift your entire lineage needed. This is not just about your finances. This is about your freedom. The sleepless nights you endured, the shame you carried behind closed doors, the whispered prayers for just one chance, heaven heard them all. And now God has declared, the chance is now. The door is open. And the hand that once lacked will now lead. You are not just being given money, you are being trusted with authority. God does not fund accidents. He funds assignments. And your life is an assignment wrapped in divine evidence. Every rejection you went through was heaven's way of protecting this moment. Every door that didn't open before now was because God didn't want you to walk in broke, He wanted you to enter blessed. And now, the blessing is not coming in pieces. It's coming in full. Archangel Michael is watching over your next 24 hours with precision. He is stationed beside your name, shielding it from interference, shielding your promise from delay, silencing every spiritual voice that once spoke against your abundance. Because this is not a negotiation. This is a decision made in the highest court of eternity. And now, Earth must respond. People will change their minds about you. Systems will bend. Timelines will collapse. Things that once took years will now take moments. Because when God says, it's time, no force, not even time itself, can resist the order. The transfer is spiritual, but its impact will be physical. Your bank account will reflect what your spirit already knows, you're entering overflow. You will no longer live under just enough. You will no longer survive week to week. You will no longer pray with anxiety. That season is closed. And the new one? It's wild. It's wide. It's weighty. It's miraculous. You'll walk through stores and not check price tags. You'll cover others' needs without checking your balance. You'll be able to give in secret and build in silence. Because your spirit isn't driven by wealth, it's guided by wisdom. And heaven trusts the ones who don't idolize the blessing but honor the blesser. That's you. That's why this release is happening. Because you never tried to manipulate your way into breakthrough. You waited. You wept. You walked in integrity. And God saw all of it. And now He's responding publicly to what you endured privately. And when this moment manifests, you will weep, not because you were weak, but because you'll finally see why you had to wait. Why nothing else worked. Why God didn't let you settle. Because this is what He had in mind. A miracle that feels like mercy. A breakthrough that carries your fingerprint and heaven's seal. So lift your hands, not in desperation, but in reception. Because it's not coming. It's here. There is a divine echo ringing through eternity right now, and your name is the sound heaven has been waiting to release. You were never random, never lost in the crowd, never abandoned in your waiting. Everything you have survived was orchestrated to refine your faith, not deny your blessing. The reason you're seeing this message is because you've entered the atmosphere where heaven's currency is no longer hope alone, it is activation. The time for believing is shifting into the time for receiving, and the reason it feels like your soul is trembling is because the very miracle your grandmother once prayed for, the very wealth your ancestors dreamed of but never touched, it is finally coming to you. Your hands are next. Not by accident, not by force, but by divine inheritance. What's being delivered to your life is sacred. It's not just a financial transaction, it's a spiritual vindication. You were ridiculed for believing. Mocked for staying loyal to your faith. You watched others rise quickly while you remained hidden. But what they built without God is already fading. What you waited for with God is now beginning, and it will not fade, it will flourish. Archangel Michael has been writing your story in a scroll that man cannot edit. And every line is drenched in glory. It reads, "This one didn't quit. This one didn't curse me. This one held on. Now bless them publicly." That is what's happening. A public reward for private endurance. A financial shift so profound that even your past will bow to your present. You will look back and say, "Now I understand why it all had to happen." Heaven's treasury is limitless. What's being poured out to you is not being subtracted from someone else, it's being summoned from eternal supply. That's why your story is safe. That's why your harvest is untouched. No one can take what God specifically aligned for you. The financial provision on its way is not an accident or overflow from someone else's miracle. It is yours. It matches your hands. It's coded to your faith. It is the exact measurement needed to break the curse, fund the calling, restore the years, and elevate your life. And when it arrives, don't question its timing. Accept it like the letter God wrote to your soul and sent. Through Michael's wings. This is not your imagination. It's not a coincidence. It's a commissioning. And listen closely, what you're about to receive will speak for you. You won't have to explain yourself anymore. You won't have to prove your worth. The miracle will be loud. It will be evidence. And the same people who whispered about your waiting will witness your wealth. But you won't flaunt it. You'll flow with it. You'll invest in purpose. You'll heal the places poverty once poisoned. You'll fund ideas, restore homes, care for people like no one cared for you. And you'll do it all from the posture of worship, because your heart is still soft. Still humble. Still surrendered. This is why heaven chose you. Not because you begged, but because you believed. And that belief carried weight. It created movement in the spirit. It created momentum around your name. And now, the portal is open. Not next week. Not next year. Now. The clock of favor has struck your name, and the scroll is unrolling fast. Don't waste another moment doubting. Don't question whether you're ready. You are. You've been ready. And now the blessing is finally catching up to your obedience. There is a stillness in the spirit realm right now, and yet, within that silence, something explosive is about to unfold in your life. The wind has shifted. The alignment has settled. The vault of heaven has been unlocked, and what is moving toward you cannot be reversed. This isn't just about money, this is about a prophetic transaction. The hands that once held disappointment are now being marked by divine prosperity. And this prosperity is not noisy, not prideful, not hollow. It's sacred. It's quiet like a prayer, yet powerful like thunder. And when it enters your life, it will not only fill the gaps, it will rewrite your narrative. People will say, "How did this happen so suddenly?" But heaven knows the truth. It didn't happen suddenly. It happened obediently. You passed every test. You stayed faithful. You trusted even when nothing made sense. And now, finally, the reward is catching up to the rhythm of your surrender. God never forgets what was done in secret. The giving you did when no one saw. The fasting when your spirit was weak. The prayers when you had no more words left. Every act of faith built a foundation that could carry what is being delivered now. And let me tell you this, the blessing is not small. It's not subtle. It's supernatural. This is the kind of blessing that walks into a room before you do. The kind that causes closed doors to open without keys. The kind that makes systems bend and delays dissolve. This is your Exodus moment, the season where you are leaving survival and entering supply. And this supply is not fragile. It is fortified by heaven. Archangel Michael is not just watching this transfer, he's guarding it. For weeks now, heaven has been intercepting plans that were meant to distract you, discourage you, or detour you from this moment. People have walked away. Opportunities have shifted. Emotions have been stirred. But all of it was necessary to protect this promise. Because not everyone can be in the room when your blessing lands. Not everyone can walk with you when your hands are full. God has removed what was unnecessary to make room for what's unstoppable. And now, with every second that passes, something in the spirit realm is accelerating. Papers are moving. Numbers are being changed. Systems are being instructed to release. Because the word over your life is not, wait, anymore, it is, receive. You don't have to beg for this. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't need anyone to understand. What is being given to you is not a reward from people, it is a gift from heaven. And it has been wrapped in every moment of obedience you ever offered. This isn't just about your hands, it's about your heart. God saw how you held nothing and still believed. How you helped others even when your own soul was tired. How you kept walking when it would have been easier to sit down. That kind of faith is dangerous to darkness. And now God is saying, you have waited long enough. Let the floodgates open. There will be moments coming where you won't even realize you're walking in the very thing you used to cry for. The stress will lift so silently that one day you'll wake up and realize, you're not surviving anymore, you're living. And in those moments, remember this truth: this is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is confirmation. And it was always meant to find you. The currency that is being transferred into your hands has one assignment: to release you into destiny. And you will never be broke again. Not because of numbers, but because of knowledge. You now know who you are. And heaven always funds those who remember. This is the season where God makes the unseen visible. Everything you've carried in silence. Every vision you wrote down and kept hidden, every plan you shelved because there wasn't enough support, every sacrifice you made without applause, is now being noticed in the courts of heaven. You've waited long enough for things to align, for someone to see the value in what you carry. But now heaven is responding without delay. What you're about to receive is not just finances. It's visibility. The blessing will expose what was always inside of you but concealed behind seasons of lack. And now, your hand, once stretched in hope, is about to hold manifestation. This will not be a small transfer. This will be the kind that turns heads, that breaks patterns, that rewrites what people thought they knew about you. You never needed a spotlight. You just needed a moment where heaven said, now. And that moment has come. Not because of who's watching, but because of who you are when no one's watching. You are trusted. And the money coming your way is arriving not because you chased it, but because you attracted it with your obedience. The most powerful wealth is the kind that heaven releases without your manipulation. And this is that kind. You didn't need a gimmick. You didn't need a shortcut. You stood in alignment, and now divine timing is answering your posture. It's your humility that moved God. It's your consistency in prayer. Your tears. Your refusal to give up. And all of it became a spiritual demand that heaven could no longer delay. Archangel Michael is not only delivering what belongs to you, he is silencing every voice that tried to speak against it. There were whispers around your name. Doubts spoken in secret places. People who questioned how you would ever rise. But now God is preparing a table before you. Not to shame them, but to show them. Because what God does with your life will not be quiet. It will be loud with grace. Loud with transformation. Loud with restoration. You will walk into rooms where no one thought you'd be invited. You will be offered things you didn't even ask for. Why? Because your faith has become currency in the spirit. It bought you entrance into seasons others tried to block. And now, every wall is crumbling. Every barrier is breaking. Every ceiling is gone. The money coming to you has divine instructions. It will not be wasted. It will not be short-lived. It will multiply because it is marked. It is designed for hands that are prepared, not desperate. And your hands have been prepared. You've learned stewardship in seasons where you had nothing. You've learned gratitude when you were forgotten. You've learned honor when you weren't even being celebrated. And all of those lessons are now becoming the foundation for what you're about to build. You won't just touch money, you'll transform with it. You'll create. You'll restore. You'll bless others in secret and start things the world will never trace back to you, but heaven will record every detail. And when it happens, don't apologize. Don't shrink. Don't hide it. This is not just about overflow, it's about outcome. The outcome of obedience. The reward of restraint. The fruit of faithfulness. Let them look. Let them wonder. Let them ask. Because you'll know, it was never about luck. It was about God. About His Word. His promise. His unshakable remembrance of you in every storm, every valley, every sleepless night. He never forgot. He only waited for the perfect moment. And now, beloved, the moment has arrived. There is a financial breakthrough approaching you with such force, even time is bowing to its arrival. What was delayed is now being delivered. What was withheld is now being released. And heaven is not hesitating. Because your process has proven something powerful, your heart is ready. Not ready to impress the world, but ready to obey God fully. And because of that posture, you're not just receiving a blessing, you're receiving a new season. One where you are not surviving by scraps, but thriving in supernatural supply. One where your hands are not trembling in fear but lifted in full and fearless expectation. This is what the fight was about. Not about money itself, but about whether you'd give up before it came. And you didn't. You stayed in the furnace, you stood in the waiting, and now God is opening the treasury of heaven and saying, give them what belongs to them. This next level of favor is not going to wait for your permission. It's already in motion. And it is not based on effort, it is based on identity. You were always chosen for abundance. The warfare was only present because the enemy wanted you to believe you were forgotten. But you are not forgotten, you are favored. The struggle was never a denial. It was a disguise. Heaven had to cloak your process so that no one could interfere before the right time. But now the disguise is being removed, and the display is beginning. God is about to show what He's been building behind the scenes. And the currency that's coming to your hand isn't coming from man. It's coming from God's memory. He remembers your giving when you had little. He remembers your surrender when it hurt. He remembers your yes when no one else was watching. And now He is repaying you openly. Archangel Michael is guarding your gate. This time, the blessing will not be stolen. This time, no counterfeit will intercept it. This time, you won't miss the moment. Heaven has made a path where there was no road. And your name has been written on divine transactions that are about to show up in unexpected ways. Checks, approvals, legal clearances, sudden releases, all of them already in motion. And they are not random. They are reparations. Restorations. Proof that what was broken can be built again, this time better. This time with grace. This time with peace. This time with overflow. Because what's coming is not just for comfort, it's for calling. You have places to go, lives to touch, voices to lift, and legacies to restore. And for that, God is sending provision. You will no longer flinch at bills. No longer cry over empty accounts. No longer question how you'll survive. You are moving from daily bread to divine abundance. And this abundance is not temporary. It's prophetic. It is laced with instruction. This wealth is meant to flow through you like a river, not sit like a lake. God is trusting you because He knows your heart. You'll give without broadcasting. You'll build without boasting. You'll rise without revenge. And that is rare. That is holy. That is what makes you chosen. And when you feel it hit, when the transfer lands, when the breakthrough opens, when the weight of it all sinks in, don't forget to breathe. Because this is holy. This is sacred. This is answered prayer wrapped in God's goodness. You're not imagining it. You're not dreaming. You are receiving. If you believe in God, type Amen or 444 or 555 or 0002 111. Subscribe for more videos.